Sie sind seit ein paar Monaten zusammen und nun endlich soll Chris die Eltern seiner Freundin Rose kennenlernen. Ein bisschen mulmig ist ihm dabei schon, denn die wissen noch nichts von seiner Hautfarbe, aber die Schwiegereltern ins B zeigen sich total freundlich und warmherzig als aufgeklärte Obama-Wähler. Und es scheint alles in Ordnung zu sein. Die schwarzen Hausangestellten verhalten sich zwar ab und zu ein bisschen merkwürdig, aber das bereitet zunächst noch keinen Anlass zur Sorge. Doch dann häufen sich die unheimlichen und merkwürdigen Vorkommnisse und es wird langsam für Chris bedrohlich. Und irgendwann heißt es dann nur noch Get Out. Ja, das ist wieder so ein Überraschungshit, der weit über 100 Millionen Dollar eingespielt hat. Und es ist ein Film, in dem doch deutlich mehr drinsteckt, als es auf den ersten Blick so den Anschein hat. Deswegen mögen ihn auch die Kritiker. Und es ist ein weiterer Hit für das Studio Blum Productions, die diese Art von günstig produzierten Horrorfilmen immer wieder ins Kino bringen und damit meistens sehr gut fahren. Und anscheinend kriegt es kein anderer so hin wie dieses Studio. Und wie sie das machen, das habe ich dann direkt den Chef von Blum Productions mal gefragt.
I'm talking to Jason Blum, who's the head of Blum Productions and is responsible for franchises like the Purge movies and Paranormal Activity or Sinister, but also for drama like Whiplash. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And congratulations again for another big success with your new movie Get Out, which I think cost about $5 million and made close to 200 millions now.
4.5.
4.5 million, even less. So, well, this looks like the Blumhouse formula is still working. Is there a formula? Is there any way that you can plan or calculate such a success?
I think formula is a little too rigid a word to describe the business, but we have a kind of a general notion, and the general notion is that we make movies very, very inexpensively, and in exchange for doing that, we give the directors creative freedom. So everyone bets on themselves. We don't take a fee, and they don't take a fee, and the actors don't take a fee, or a very minimal fee. If the movies work, everyone does really well. If they don't, nobody gets paid, but by doing movies for low budgets, we can take chances on odd ideas. And Get Out is the perfect example. Get Out was a script that was kicking around Hollywood for a couple of years. No one would make it. And we said, look, Jordan, if you could make it for this amount of money, for $4.5 million, we'll try it. And the key to our company's survival is continuing to do low budget movies, because low budgets means we can take chances and take risks.
Mm-hmm. But you're already, you do spend a bit more money if the movie is a success. If I regard the Purge movies, for example, I think the second and third one showed much more of it outside. So if it works, then you put a bit more money in it.
Yeah, I should have said a caveat to that. Everything that I described only applies to originals. If we're making sequels, we spend about $10 million. So we spend, still by Hollywood standards, very low, but by our standards, much more, double the budget. And that's because we have proven IP. So the risk is much less, so we can spend more money. But for originals, we keep the budgets very low. Sequels, we usually double it.
What is unusual, not for your movies, but for horror movies in general, is the overwhelming critical response of a movie like Get Out. And not only the audience, also the critics love it. They say it's scary, funny, thought-provoking. Were you surprised by this reaction, that some see it as also as a comment or a mirror of modern American society?
I was surprised by the success of the movie. I wasn't surprised. I was pleasantly surprised by the critical response, but I wasn't surprised that people saw that there was it was a comment on racism. I mean, it's very clearly, there's more to it than just scares and laughs. There's a great amount of those too, but it's clearly obviously about something else. So I wasn't surprised that people picked up on that, but I was definitely surprised at how the movie resonated with people.
Yes, is it true, I heard that also still while the movie was in progress, that there were changes to the ending, reacting to developments that happened, without giving the ending away?
Yeah, without giving the ending away. It wasn't while we were in development. Actually, the movie was finished, and we screened it for a big group of people, and it played very well, except the end did not play well. And Jordan and I talked about a different end, and I pitched an ending to Jordan, and ultimately it was Jordan's decision whether or not to do that or not, and he actually decided to change the end of the movie. So we did change the end, and then the next time we screened the movie, it played great all the way through.
You mentioned that the directors get a lot of creative freedom at your house, and the way you do movies now is very successful, and I think it's also very gives a lot of satisfaction for you. Do you miss anything from being in bigger productions, or is there any ambition that you might do kind of big blockbusters that cost a little bit more?
I made one movie for $60 million, and it wasn't enjoyable. I think the bigger the budgets, the more the creative gets kind of made generic, and the more decisions are made by committee. So I have many ambitions, but not to produce expensive movies. I feel like it's much more fun and much more creatively satisfying to me to keep doing low budget movies. So no big budgets for me.
Okay, that was clear. Just one question I've got to ask, because of the success of the movie, any plans for a sequel to Get Out?
No plans currently for a sequel. I can't, we've made sequels to a lot of our hit movies. I can't imagine what a sequel to this would be. Maybe a cousin, but I don't think a sequel.
It's difficult.
It's difficult.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ja, man beachte die schönen Ledersessel, auf die Sie uns da gesetzt haben, passend zum Film und zum Filmplakat, ja. Den Film, den Jason Blum erwähnt hat, der ein bisschen größer war von seinem Studio, der hieß Zahnfee auf Bewährung auf Deutsch, Tooth Fairy, mit Dwayne Johnson, der dort verknackt wird, die Zahnfee für Kinder zu spielen. Der hat so 50 bis 60 Millionen Dollar gekostet, war, glaube ich, mittelmäßig erfolgreich, und das meinte er mit, hat ihm keinen Spaß gemacht, weil zu viele Leute reinreden. Ne? Aber es ist wirklich faszinierend, dass jetzt wirklich auch Schauspieler, Regisseure erstmal gar nicht bezahlt werden und nur bei Erfolg dann beteiligt werden. Meistens sind die Filme ein Erfolg. Get Out ist bei uns eben in der ersten Woche auch auf Platz 2 und ist wirklich ein cleverer, fieser, kleiner Horror-Thriller, der sich absolut lohnt anzuschauen.
Klingt interessant.
Ja, er hat ja, du hast auch erwähnt, The Purge oder Paranormal Activity, das sind natürlich sehr billige Filme gewesen.
Genau,
ne?
Gerade Paranormal Activity, wo du ja praktisch mit der Heimkamera die irgendwo hinstellst.
Weil dieser hier, ich meine, hat er 4,5 Millionen, das ist ja schon ein richtiger, hochwertiger Film.
Aber für Hollywood-Standards ist das halt wirklich
ja, der hat halt jetzt keine
Geld,
großen
ne?
Special Effects oder keine großen Stars und sowas, deswegen ist er nicht so teuer, ne?
Nee.
Nee. Genau.
Massengeschmack TV. Gleich anmelden und 14 Tage kostenlos testen.